going to discuss the features of the strategy. What is the business strategies and what are the features of business strategy? Number one is strategy is all about the winnings. Okay, you already knows that whatever, if you want to achieve any goal, okay, if you want to achieve anything in your life, you want to make a strategies, and that particular strategies means actually the plan will lead you to the success. The next one is strategy offer broad guidelines. Definitely, whenever you are preparing any strategy or whenever you are preparing any plans to execute those plans, you need to have some guidelines, and those guidelines will help you for the external processes and put the firm on the right path. Okay, not only about the business, about the firm, it's about your achievements, about your goal. Okay, strategy is forward looking. Definitely the plans, strategies, business plan are all forward looking. The next one is strategy's lifespan is limited. Okay, though the planning execution of those plans are of limited, because whenever you there are specific particular strategies or particular plan for any particular business or any for particular execution of those particular plans. So that is why the plans or the strategies are always limited. Means whatever the plans you have done, that plan is for those particular work only. Suppose you have prepared or you have a plan to execute, you have a plan to go abroad, okay, or you have a plan. Suppose you have a plan to going to appear for UPSC examination. For that particular examinations, you have prepared the plan. When the examination is over, then what will happen? The plan is also over. Now you need to look after for your next plan. That is why plans are always be limited. Strategy is generally a product or top management thinkings. Of course, it is believed that only executives at the highest levels have the necessary perspective and information to plan for the organization as a whole. Okay, so strategy is generally a product of top management thinker. So it is believed that only executive at the highest level have the necessary perspective and the informations to plan for the organization as a whole. Now, strategy is a dynamic and flexible program of active action. Now, what is this? This means that the strategy is a dynamic. The plan or the strategy is very dynamic and flexible. It is a flexible, means you can shift to plan A, you can shift to plan B, you can execute plan B, execute plan A, whatever the plans. That is why the strategies are always flexible. Now, what are the scope and importance of strategies? Okay, these are the questions. It will going definitely going to come. Now, what are the next one is what are the scope and importance of strategies? Number one is top management involvement. The importance of strategies is number one are as following. Number one is top management involvement. There is always an involvement of the top management. Okay, now there is an allocation of a large doses of resources. The next one is effect on long-term prosperity of the firm. The effect on the long-term prosperity of the firm. This is also very much important for the things. Okay. The next one is future oriented. The next one is future oriented. This one is also important. Now look, what is the is been written over here. The what is future oriented in the importance of the strategy. Strategic decisions are built around forecasts. Okay, the emphasis is only on selecting a suitable course of action from the available alternatives and moving ahead with confidence. Okay, now in a turbulent environment, a firm will succeed only if it is takes a proactive stance towards the changes. For example, visualizing the demand for television content in 1980s or 1990s. Okay, so strategies and plannings are very much future oriented, because whatever the actions that will be available or that will be the executions of those plans or strategies must be alternative and must be moving ahead with confidence. Okay, so that is why it is future oriented. The next one is multifunctional or multi-business consequences. The next point is multifunctional or multi-business consequences. Strategic decisions have complex implications for the most areas of the firm. They impact various strategic businesses units, especially in areas relating to product mix, customer mix, organization structure, and competitive focus. So these are the multifunctional or multi-business consequences. The next one is focus on external group. In order to successfully position in a firm in a competitive environment, strategies must look beyond its operations. This line is very much important. Okay, for a successful position in a firm, it is very much essential that the management or the executives of those particular firm to be successful in the business, it should look beyond its operations. मतलब जो भी आप काम कर रहे हो या फिर जो भी प्लान्स आप एग्जीक्यूट कर रहे हो, आप उसके अलावा उसके बाहर या उसके बियॉन्ड आप देखने की कोशिश कीजिए। ठीक है, एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट एक एग्जाम्पल हम इसमें से ले सकते हैं कि इन 1990s आप जानते होंगे कि एकता कपूर की जो बालाजी टेलीफिल्म्स था, वो इतना स्टनिंग पॉपुलर गेन किया था टीवी सीरियल्स में कि आज तक उनका जो भी एपिसोड्स या रिकॉर्ड्स आज तक ब्रेक नहीं हो पाया। नाउ इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट। आप आज भी जो बालाजी के जो भी आप प्रोग्राम्स आप देखते हो बालाजी का, अब वो आज टॉप रेटेड प्रोग्राम्स में गिना जाता है। कहानी, घर घर की, वट एवर द सीरियल्स, नागिन। सो दीज क्यों? Because the producer director Ekta Kapoor, whatever the few strategies she has prepared, she has she has the vision to look beyond what is planning, what he is, what she has planned. Okay, that is why the strategy is also a future oriented. Okay, now what are the collecting information on external environment? What are the collecting information on external environment? External environment analysis or scanning is a process by which organizations monitor their external environment to spot opportunities and threats affecting their business. The basis purpose is to help management determine the future directions of the organizations. Scanning simply involves reviewing and evaluating whatever information about external environments can be gleaned from several distinct sources. Now, what are the international sources of collecting information on external environment? Number one is World Development Report. Number two is World Economic Survey. Number three is Statistical Yearbook. And number four is Yearbook of International Trade Statistics. So these are the four important international sources from where we can collect information on external environment. Apart from this external information, there are some government sources. There are some government sources. Now, what are the government sources? Census of India, 5-year plan reports, India Yearbook, Economic Survey, Annual Survey of Industries. So these are some government sources of what you can say the information on external environment. These are some government sources collecting information on some external sources. What are those? Census of India, 5-year plan reports, India Yearbook, Economic Survey, Annual Survey of what you can say industries. Okay, now what are the scope of an organization? The next topic we can discuss the what are the scope, you can say what are the scope of an organization. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का स्कोप क्या हो सकता है? तो देख लो यहां पर लिखा हुआ है कि in order to decide the scope of an organization, in order to decide the scope of an organization, the Ansoff left the strategy. Who is this Ansoff? Ansoff is the, what you can say, is the leading proponent of analytical approaches, try to weave a fire garments and out of loose threads developed by Harvard researchers. Okay, इनका पूरा ना एंसॉफ का पूरा नाम था इग्नोर, IGNOR, इग्नोर एंसॉफ। 1965 में इन्होंने एक गारमेंट फैक्ट्रीज प्लांट किया था और उन्होंने उस गारमेंट फैक्ट्रीज में जितने भी लूज थ्रेड्स थे, जितने भी थ्रेड्स जो लूज थे, उन थ्रेड्स को उन्होंने फाइन गारमेंट्स प्रिपेयर में उनका यूटिलाइजेशन किया था। और उन्होंने इसका इस्तेमाल इतनी बारीकी से किया था कि उनका ये जो प्लानिंग था, स्ट्रेटेजीज था, हार्वर्ड रिसर्चर्स में ये नाम डाला गया था। इसीलिए इनका नाम आज ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में एक अलग दर्जा दिया हुआ है। हिज नेम इज Ignor Ansoff. Okay, he is a prominent analytical researcher. Okay, so now what are the nature of strategic management? Come to the next topic. What is the, or what are the nature of the strategic management? Strategic management का nature क्या क्या हो सकता है? चलिए हम लोग जानते हैं। First of all, the following are the fundamental characteristics of strategic management. The following are the fundamental, what you can say, fundamental characteristics of strategic management, which assist in recognizing the nature of strategic management. Number one is long term direction. Number one जो होता है वो long term directions होता है. Number two is recognizes change. Number three is oriented towards the future. Number four is external emphasis. Number three is concerned with the scope of organization. Number five is major impact on the organization. Number six is significant risk. Number seven is major financial or other resources implications. Number eight is matching resources with environment. Number seven is stretching resources and competence. Number eight is influenced by the stakeholders. The next one is affect operational decisions. Then comes to the next competitive advantage. And the next one is integrating intuitions and analysis. So these are 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 to 15 importance of nature of strategic management are there. Now let us discuss what is long-term directions in nature of strategic management. Long-term directions mean in strategic management, it is concerned with the long-term direction of the organization. Now your plan or your strategies can only concern whether you will be going to successful for a longer period of time or for a shorter period of time. इसका एक एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको दे सकता हूं। इसका एग्जाम्पल जो चिट फंड आया था, आपने बहुत बड़ा स्कैम हुआ था बंगाल में, सबसे बड़ा स्कैम हुआ था चिट फंड। ये चिट फंड का स्ट्रेटेजीज या पॉलिसीज क्या था कि आप कम टाइम में अपना पैसा जो है वो आप डबल कर सकते हो विथ ग्रेटर इंटरेस्ट। इन तो वेस्ट बंगाल की जितने भी एरियाज थे उन्होंने इस बिजनेस से इतना ही इंप्रेस हो गए कि दे means what they used to withdraw money from the banks and they deposit to those chit fund. Okay, to those chit fund. Finally, after 5 years of investing money on chit fund, one day the company collapsed, and there is a crisis in West Bengal. The people's trying to protest. The people's trying to I mean, the people fighting with the what you can say with the governments. That the people fighting started fighting with the what you can. They try to means destroy the government properties and all. They try to fire the buses and all. Such a big Bengal scam. That is cheat fund. Now this chit fund is a very good company. जैसे फ्रैंकलिन इसमें आ जाता है, फ्रैंकलिन, फ्रैंक रोज, इसमें ये सब बहुत सारे ऐसे कंपनीज आते हैं, छोटे मोटे कंपनीज होते हैं. लेकिन ये इन्होंने जो भी बिजनेस किया था, बिजनेस का जो सेटअप था या फिर बिजनेस का जो स्टार्टअप था वो बहुत जबरदस्त था. बट इन लोगों का लॉन्ग टर्म विजन कुछ नहीं था. इन लोगों का लॉन्ग टर्म, इन लोगों का सिर्फ एक ही मोटिव था, जस्ट टू अर्न प्रॉफिट एज मच एज इट इज पॉसिबल फ्रॉम द पीपल. अब एक तरफा बिजनेस तो कभी होता नहीं था. बिजनेस में प्रॉफिट और लॉस दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन होता था. और ये जो छोटे मोटे कंपनीज थे, फ्रैंक रोज एंड ऑल, इन्होंने सिर्फ और सिर्फ प्रॉफिट ही चाहा, लॉस नहीं चाहा. एंड दैट इज व्हाई these companies get collapsed during the year 2012-2015. Recognizes changes. The next point is recognizes changes. Now, strategic management recognizes that environmental will change and that organization should continually monitor internal and external events and trends so that timely actions can be taken as needed. So these are the next point is recognizes changes. Now, the strategic management recognizes that environment will change and that organization should continually monitor internal and external events and trends so that timely actions can be taken as needed. Now, oriented towards the future. Now, what is the oriented towards the future? Now, strategic management is oriented towards the future. It is a long range orientations, one that tries to anticipate events rather simply react as the other. So, in the strategic management, one of the most important nature is oriented towards the future. Okay, oriented towards the future. Always remember one thing: whatever the plans you are preparing, or we are preparing, or the executives are preparing, that all have the long term visions. All have the long term visions. Okay, now external emphasis. Now, strategic management process takes into action account several components of the external environment, including technological, political, economic, and social dimension and their impact on the business and the impact on their business. Okay, so this one is external emphasis. Strategic management. Strategic management. So strategic management is external emphasis. These external emphasis processes takes into the actions component to in actions component into external environment, including into external environment, into technological, economic, and social dimensions and their impact on the business. Then comes to the next, concern with scope of orientation. Concern with the scope of the orientation. This strategic management is concerned with the scope of an organization's activities. For example देखो दिया है, should an organization concentrate on one area of activity or should it have many? This is the questions there. What the author is asking us, whether you should means execute your plan, you should emphasize your plan on only one directions, or rather in different directions. Okay, this include the important decisions about the product range or geographical coverage, and is concerned with the organization boundaries. The next one is major impact. The next one is major impact on the organization. What is the major impact on the organization? Now, the strategic management mm, impact on the success or failure of company. Major impact on the organization में क्या बता रहा है? Strategic management will have a major impact on the success or failure of a company. The next one is significant risk. Strategic management involve major risk. What are the major risks? Now, major financial or resources implications. This one is the first and the main important implications, or you can say the significant of the risk, that is financial or resources implication. Next one is resources with environment. Environment. What is the meaning of this? Suppose the strategic management is concerned with matching the resources and activities of an organizations to the environment in which it operates. In which it operates. This is often referred to as strategic fit. The notion of strategic fit is developing strategy by identifying opportunities in the business environment and adapting resources and competencies to take advantage of those opportunities. Such a strategic fit is important to achieve the correct positioning of the firm to meet clearly identified market needs. Okay, so this one is the next one is marketing resources with environmental strategies. So this one is often referred to strategic fit. Okay, now what is this? The notion of strategic phase is developing strategy by identifying opportunities in the business environment and adapting resources and competencies to take advantage of those opportunities. Such a strategic fit is important to achieve the what you can say to achieve the correct positioning of the firm to meet clearly identified market need. Now, stretching resource and competencies. Now, stretching is the leverage of the resources and competencies of an organizations to create opportunities or to capitalize on them. Now, such a stretch provide an organization competitive advantage. Okay, influenced by now the next influenced by the stakeholder. The strategic influenced by the stakeholder. The strategic decisions of an organizations are not only influenced by the environmental forces and resources availability, but also by the values and expectations of the stakeholders of the organization. Okay, now this strategic decisions of an organizations are not only influenced by environmental forces and resources availability, but also by the values and expectations of the stakeholders of the organization. Next है affect operational decisions. Strategic management affect operational decisions because it is at the operational level that real strategic advantage can be achieved. If the operational aspect of the organization are not in line with the strategy, then No matter how well conceived the strategy is, it will not succeed. Now, competitive advantage. Strategic management aim at achieving some advantage for the organization over competitors. Next one is integrating in intuitions and analysis. In a sense, strategic management process integrate intuitions and analysis. Intuitions means inner voice or gut feeling. Inner voice or intuition is essential for making decisions in situation of great uncertainty or little precedence. But in most situations, an objective, logical, systematic approach for making major decisions in an organization is required, which is provided by strategic analysis. Analytical thinking and intuitive thinking complement each other in strategic management. Okay, now strategic decisions making. This one is the next topic we will going to discuss, that is strategic decision making. Decision making is the most important function of any manager. To make a decision means to make a judgment regarding how to act in a certain situation after having considered alternative course of action. Okay, so decision making is the most important function of any manager. To make a decision making means to make a judgment regarding how to act in a certain situation after having considered alternative course of action. Now, organizational decisions can be broadly classified into three categories. Number one is strategic, tactical, and operational. Strategic, tactical, and operational. According to the time horizon of the decisions, we have already distinguished between strategic and operational decisions. We have already distinguish between strategic and operational decisions. Strategic decisions deal with long term, long run future of the entire organization. Tactical decisions are specific plan detailing how a strategy is to be implemented. By their nature, tactical decisions are narrower in scope and shorter in time horizon than strategic decisions. Now, operational decisions, on the other hand, are focused on the day-to-day real time activities of the organization. Okay? So the next one is, though any decisions may undertake all the three types of decisions. What are the three types of decision? Number one is strategic decision making. Number two is top level executive. Number three is decisions making in the middle manager function. And the last one is operational decision making. So these are the 3 to 4 important strategic decision makings are there. Now, we can see that the distinguished characteristics of strategic management is its emphasis on strategic decision making. As organizations grow larger and more complex with more uncertain environment, decisions become increasingly complicated and difficult to make because of the very nature of strategic decisions. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? That the distinguished characteristic of strategic management is its emphasis on strategic decision making. As the organization grow larger and more complex, as the organization grow larger and more complex with more uncertain environments, decisions became increasingly complicated and difficult to make because of the very nature of strategic decisions. Now, the next point is levels. Many organizations, we can see, develop strategies at particular level. Now here we can see those levels are being categorized into three categories. Number one is corporate level strategic planning. Number two is business level strategic planning. Number three is functional level strategic planning. So these are the three important strategic planning of different level. Number one is corporate level strategic planning. So it is the process of defining the overall character and purpose of the organization, the business it will enter and leave, and how resources will be distributed among those businesses. Now, this strategies at this level is typically developed by top management, the board of directors, CEO, business policies and strategic analysis maker, etc. These are the corporate levels, and they prepare the strategic in a in a high level, and their purpose of is to grow the business. Okay, just to grow the businesses, how the resources will be distinguished among those businesses. So these are the following points where the corporate level strategic planning used to prepare their plan. Number two, second level is business level strategic planning. The second important point is business level strategic planning. So what is the business level strategic planning? Let's see. It is the planning process concerned primarily with how to manage the interest and operations of a particular unit within the organization, commonly known as strategic business unit, SBU, जिसे हम SBU कहते हैं. A strategic business unit is a distinct business with its own set of competitors, with a own set of competitors that can be managed reasonably, mm, independently of other businesses with the organization. Generally, the heads of the respective business units develop businesses strategies with the approval of top management. So the strategies at the levels are aimed at deciding the competitive advantage to the build, determining responses to changing market situation, allocating resources with the business units, and coordinating functional level developed by functional managers. Okay, so this one is what you can say business level strategic planning. I have already told you that there are three important levels of business strategies. Uh, so this the second one is, it is nothing but simply a planning process which concerned primarily with how to manage the interest and operations of a पर्टिकुलर यूनिट. कोई भी पर्टिकुलर यूनिट, कोई भी सपोज बिजनेस का कोई भी पर्टिकुलर यूनिट, उस यूनिट को हम कैसे ऑपरेट करें, कैसे मैनेज करें, कैसे वहां से इंटरेस्ट अर्न करें, दैट इज कॉल्ड द बिजनेस लेवल स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट और स्ट्रेटेजिक बिजनेस यूनिट, SBU. A strategic business unit is a distinct business with its own set of competitors that can be managed reasonably independently of the other business. The next one is the functional level strategic planning. The next one is functional level strategic planning. It is the process of determining policies and procedures for a relatively narrow levels of activity. Different functions of an enterprise like marketing, finance, personal, etc. So these are developed by functional managers and are typically reviewed by business unit heads. Okay, so it is the process of determining policies. It is the process of determining policies and procedures for relatively narrow levels of activity. Different functions of an enterprise like marketing, finance, personnel, etc. These are developed by functional managers and are typically reviewed by business and unit heads. Now, coordinating strategies across the three level, coordinating strategies across the three level is crucial in maximizing strategic impact. The strength of the business level strategy is enhanced when functional level strategic support in its business threat. So, similarly, the corporate level is likely to have a greater impact when business levels strategy is support and one in the bolstering the corporate level of strategies. ठीक है. Now what are the role of strategies? Strategies का role क्या हो सकता है? Number, where have we been? Where are we now? Where do we want to go? Where should we go? Where can we go? Where shall we go? ठीक है. तो ये जो मतलब क्या बताऊं मैं, ये जो आपका स्ट्रेटेजीज है, ये मैक्सिमम ये पांचों सवालों में ये रोल प्ले करते हैं. वेयर हैव वी बिन, वेयर आर वी नाउ, वेयर डू यू वांट टू गो, वेयर शुड वी गो, वेयर कैन वी गो, वेयर शैल वी गो. Now, these strategic decisions are the essence of strategic management. Strategies can be put into practice only after choices have made. Now, these strategic decisions can by their very what you can say nature and characterized by considerable risk and uncertainty. Now, strategic decisions involve more than one area of an organization, more than actually one area of an organization. They require sizable allocation of resources. They are future oriented with long term ramification. They can either take a company to command heighting or make it bottomless pit. To be safe, therefore, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, to formulate the strategic decisions after receiving vital inputs from internal and external impact. Okay. The next one is, what are the following examples that will be on strategic decisions? नंबर वन इज यहाँ नंबर वन तो ऐसा दिया नहीं गया है, यहाँ पर दिया है स्ट्रेटेजिक डिसीजंस रेयरली following examples illustrate. So the features of strategic decisions of course vary with the level of strategic activities. Consider corporate level decisions are characterized by greater risk, cost effective, profit potential, greater need for flexibility, and longer time horizon. So, the functional levels decisions involve action oriented potential issues and are relatively okay. Now, the next topic is need for strategies and strategic management. What are the requirement of strategies and strategic management? Now, need for strategy क्या बता रहा है? Those involved in setting strategies argues that strategies are needed to give companies directions. Now, without strategies incorporating objectives, company would be adrift. If the companies do not decide whether they would to have any directions and way and any activity is fine, people in companies will not only with they were working towards, and therefore they would not be able to judge what constitute effective. However, those not in favor of argues that direction setting strategies can also block out peripheral vision, keeping companies sharply yet myopically focused on one course of action. Thus, strategies may limit the company's availability to open to new opportunities and threat, and these unfold and to deviate from one course of the company into which environmental and learns. So the strategic feedback arguing that early commitment to course of action is highly beneficial. By setting objective and drawing up a strategy to accomplish these companies can invest resources, train people, build up production's capacity, and take a dear position with their environment. So the strategies allow companies to mobilize themselves and to their actions that are difficult to companies playback period. देखो, एक कंपनीज को चलाने के लिए आज के तौर पर इतना इजी बात नहीं होता है। बहुत सारा स्ट्रेटजीज, बहुत सारा बिजनेस प्लान, बहुत सारा प्लान जिसे हम फ्यूचर में एग्जीक्यूट करना चाहते हैं। अब वो प्लान अगर फ्यूचर में वो प्लान अगर हम अभी से एग्जीक्यूट करें तो इन 50 इन आफ्टर 5 years वेयर विल वी बी। तो ऐसा बहुत सारा जो क्वेश्चंस है, नाउ डायरेक्टली इनका क्वेश्चंस तो हमें कर ही रहा है और आंसर्स भी इन्हें बताना पड़ेगा। The next one is need for strategic management. The strategic management, obviously, everyone agrees that formal strategic management system are worth instituting. Some regard them as a mixed blessings, while other are outright hostile. Some authors who value explicit strategies are not enthusiastic about Formal strategic management, the debate between supporters and dictators of formal management system resolve around two major tensions. क्या क्या है वो? Number one is formal versus informal process. Formal versus informal process. The advantage, the advantage of formalization, according to the advocates of the strategic management process perspective, is that it structures and discipline the strategy formation processes, formalizations, facilities, uh, tighter the company's unambiguous responsible, clear accountability and stricter review of performance. ठीक है? This is the, what you can say, the advantage of formalizations, or you can say the advantage of formal. The next one is differentiated versus integrated task. So the many advocates of the strategies management perspective also believe that a divisions of labor within safety formation processes is an important advantage of formal strategic management systems. Okay, so in our next class, we will going to discuss about the path to strategic management. Remember, in the next class, we will going to describe what are the paths to strategic management. Okay, so far, before concluding the session, let us recapitulate what we have done today. We have done today strategic management, an introduction part. What is the vision mission of the strategic management? What is the concept of synergy and its relation to strategy? अंडरस्टैंडिंग एक्सटर्नल एनवायरनमेंट, ठीक है. देन हमने पढ़ा है ओरिजिन ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट, द कंसेप्ट ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजी. उसके बाद व्हाट आर द इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर्स ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजी, स्कोप एंड इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजी. उसके बाद हमने यहां पर कितने तरह का स्ट्रेटेजीज हम लोग बना सकते हैं, एक्सटर्नल और इंटरनल दोनों मिला के, ये भी दिया गया है. उसके बाद हमने आज पढ़ा है स्कोप ऑफ एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का स्कोप कितना हो सकता है, ठीक है. और उसके बाद हमने नेचर ऑफ स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट हमने ये भी आज कंक्लूड किया है. स्ट्रेटेजिक डिसीजंस मेकिंग ये भी हमने बताया है. इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास वी विल गोइंग टू रीड, एक मिनट, next one, in the next class we will going to read path to strategic management. In the next class we will going to read path to strategic management. So that's comes to the end of the session. Still, if you find anything difficult to understand, then please, without any hesitation, you can ask me. Thank you. Have a good day.